Ash Ketchum's undefeated World Coronation Series ace. It isn't Pikachu, who's been through all the ups and downs of Ash's career. It isn't Lucario, who got BB'd by Feet McGee and crumpled by the telekinetic Cat Kangaroo. It isn't Geralt Gengar, who got diddled by a smiling Pokeball, a purple Stoat, and the other blue Renamon knockoff. It isn't Dracovish, who got slapped down by a school kid's dinosaur sketch dipped in pea soup, and it isn't Sirfetch'd, who we've seen get clapped not one, not two, but 3 times. By process of elimination, Ash's undefeated World Coronation Series ace is Dragonite. An unstoppable orange blob with wings. How does it even fly? I don't know. But what I do know is that it is insanely broken, so let's talk about it. Hey, it's Charles. How are you today? Dragonite is a smurfy dragon thing full of surprises, and while it's a big softie off the field who just wants to hug everyone in sight, it turns into serious Sam as soon as the clock strikes Pokemon battle, slaying its opponents with a combination of raw power, weird exploitation of its moveset, and insane tankiness that makes FF14's Gunbreaker class look like a bunch of emaciated deerlings. Please, someone save the deerlings. We are witnessing the rise of one of Ash's strongest Pokemon of all time, so today the plan is to get a clearer grasp of Hugonite's achievements and future potential by 1. Breaking down how its unique qualities position it for greatness, and 2. Analyzing how these qualities are being used to crush the competition, while referencing the achievements of some of Ash's other aces as well. And as always, it will be a fun time, so kindly request your Machoke to cross-chop that like button for the YouTube algorithm, turn on notifications like a badass, and let's jump right in. Just in case you are a moon man from the moon who does not know about Ash's Dragonite, Ash first met it as a Dragonair on Dragonite Island, where he helped it master Dragon Dance and learn to fly, because Dragonairs who cannot fly are losers. Shortly thereafter, Team Rocket stunk their way into the episode with their goofy capsule machine antics, but the interruption actually worked as a plot device for once, since the repercussions of their intervention sent Ash tumbling to his death into the Big Blue, which pushed Dragonair to evolve into Dragonite in order to grab a hold of Ash, saving his life, or so it thought. The man literally cannot die. And intrigued by Ash's love of Pokemon and Melton Bradley, Dragonite decided to join Ash on his journey. Ash happily caught it, and the internet literally broke. And ever since, Ash's Dragonite has been an unstoppable force, racking up the big wins for Team Ketchum. But before we dive into Dragonite's undefeated streak, let's get a handle on the secret sauce, the qualities that make Dragonite such a formidable Pokemon. Firstly, Dragonite hails from the prestigious 600 Club, an elite group of stacked Pokemon with base stats totaling a whopping 600 in the Pokemon video games. They're more commonly known as pseudo-legendary Pokemon, and for good reason, as they can go toe-to-toe with many of the legendaries out there. As you'd expect, pseudo-legendary Pokemon have served as the pillars of many championship teams in the anime, and really, who would not want to harness the power, durability, and cool factor of Pokemon like Tyranitar, Dragapult, or Alolan Diglett. Secondly, it is quite simply built different. Even as a pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Ash's Dragonite stands out from the pack and has quickly outstripped the 111 battle record of Ash's other pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Goodra. Now, Dragonites have always been known as heavy hitters, but the true brokenness of Ash's Dragonite in particular lies in its damage drowning tankiness that is virtually unprecedented among Ash's Pokemon. And we will be talking about that in depth in just a moment because it is truly something special. Thirdly, Ash's Dragonite has a solid moveset that is being put to creative and deadly use by Mr. Pallet Town Pottercheeks. We have Dragon Dance to juice up its attack and speed, Dragon Claw to United States of Smash its opponents in close quarters combat, Hurricane, which Ash and Dragonite have used as everything from an offensive attack to a makeshift barrier to a means of turning opponents' attacks into world-ending counter-strikes from the sky. Hyper Beam is also on the list because it looks cool. And lastly, we have Draco Meteor, the devastating dragon-dropping finisher that we all know and love. combining the all-round power of a pseudo-legendary, insane tanking power, and a moveset that is being used in unconventional and effective ways. All of this bundled up together with a fighting spirit that was truly awakened in the battle against Iris. And here we have Ash's Dragonite, somewhat of a prodigy and a Pokemon with the makings of a championship team mainstay. And again, that tankiness, it is simply ridiculous. So, how about Dragonite's battle record? Aside from a cursory role it played in a run-in with a Gigantamaxed Centiskorch and a tag team raid battle against a giant Golurk, in which it blocked a banger punch with Dragon Claw and combined its Hurricane with Go's Darmanitan's Overheat for the win. Aside from these smaller skirmishes, we have seen Hugonite's wrath on full display in 2 commanding World Coronation Series victories thus far. Given that one of these was against a gym leader and one against a reigning league champion, I think they give us a pretty good sampling of its abilities. So let's break down Dragonite's feats of badassery in these 2 delicious battles, focusing in on its tanktastic ability to swallow damage and toss it right down the poop chute. Because if you haven't noticed already, I think that is the main factor that makes Ash's Dragonite a real force to contend with. The Golurk tag team triumph that technically kicked off Dragonite's win streak was pretty nifty, but it was Ash's first truly hype World Coronation Series battle against Korrina in which Big D truly asserted its capabilities. The long story short is that after Gengar took a sloppy L, Dragonite walked in to crush both an undamaged Mienshao and a Mega Lucario, winning Ash the Battle Festival and pushing him into the World Coronation Series Superclass. Firstly, it must be said, Ash's Dragonite is indeed a powerhouse striker as you would expect from a Dragonite. And yes, Dragonite also employed some very interesting tactics throughout the match with Ash's guidance, but let's zero in on Dragonite's strong chin, which is what truly carried the team to the Golden W. Honestly, Dragonite must have been hungry before the match because it ate 27 plus double slaps followed by a high jump kick to the stomach before sticking out its tongue, making a fart noise, and knocking Mienshao out with a Dragon Claw. And in the next round, it stomached a vicious Aura Sphere cratering from Korrina's Mega Lucario, then proceeding to get lit up like a Christmas tree with a 20 plus hit string of power punches, even as Mega Lucario's attack power soared up and up and up. And at the end of it all, it was crumpled yet again against the rocks as everyone looked on in shock. Except for Ash Ketchum, who knowingly tucked his Game Shark back into his pocket and jumped for joy as the Undertaker merely shook off the damage and got right back up to knock Mega Lucario out with a vicious Dragon Claw, even as it simultaneously tanked another power punch to the face. Bear in mind that this is the same Mega Lucario that gave I've dropped legendaries and I've dropped multiple pseudo-legendaries in a single match Pikachu so much trouble back in XY. This Lucario is no slouch. And yet, Ash's damaged Dragonite merely absorbed the carnage that came its way, walked it off, and dropped Lucario before you could say easy peasy pudding pie. The victory over Korrina identified Ash's Dragonite as the emerging backbone of Ash's team, but the icing on the cake of broken tankiness would come in the match against Unova Pokemon League champion Iris. Here's a question for you. What is more impressive than tanking 50 plus blows directly to the body, remaining standing and knocking out 2 tough guys while you're at it? According to Pokemon Journey's episode 65, the answer to that question is to get blown out by the unstoppable Storm Surge that is a championship winning team crunching you for weakness over and over and over, getting dropped, and dropped again, only to get up, bust out the Nutcracker, and start cracking everyone's nuts by blowing out the rooftop and summoning a Meteor Strike to win the match. 3 Dragon Rushes, a Thunder Punch, Outrage, a Dragon Pulse, 2 Psycho Cuts. Despite connecting super effective smasher after super effective smasher to Hugonite's body one after the other, none of the champion team's blows could drop Big D. And while admittedly it did not fare so well in the mirror match against Championite, who brought out the big guns, the experience, and threw off Hugonite's mental game, it still managed to soak up the savagery and followed up Mr. Fish's sting operation by re-entering the match to obliterate Iris's Haxorus. Of course, I am sure someone is going to call in and say, "Hey, Charles, it was just Iris. Ash already beat her years ago with the sunglasses crocodile." To which all I can say is hold the banana phone. This is not Best Wishes Iris. This is reigning Unova Pokemon League champion and strongest trainer in the region, Iris. A top-tier trainer who has become a champion just as Ash is by conquering a league that he never could. There is no doubt that she is a trainer of high caliber, and yet the comparably inexperienced Hugonite was able to withstand the hits from and lay the beat down on her experienced and tight-knit team, which was an impressive feat on its own, but truly special when considering Hugonite's achievements and butt-tanking damage resistance against that of Ash's other aces. Ash's Dragonite may not yet have as much experience under its belt as the other aces, but after walking through a number of key battles featuring Ash's aces step by step, move by move, I have to say that its ability to tank a large quantity of strong blows is essentially unlike anything that we have ever seen. Even the likes of Ash's Infernape, who battled through a poison status effect and a slew of thunder punches and other nasty tricks to take down Paul's Electivire, or Kalos-era pseudo-legendary Slayer Pikachu, who got hit with everything from Metal Claw to Meteor Smash, as it dropped Tyranitar, dropped Metagross, and thereafter sunk into Elan's Charizard. Or even Lycanroc, who got repeatedly cracked for weakness by Count Counterula before countering Count Counterula with Counter to secure the Alola League Championship. These were ace Pokemon delivering peak performances and doing amazing things, but they simply have not lapped up the sheer amount of damage over the course of their battles as Ash's Dragonite has. And I'm sure that people will draw comparisons to Big Boy Snorlax, and absolutely the Battle Frontier match in which Snorlax soaked up Focus Punch after Focus Punch and KO'd Greta's Big Hand Man and Medicham for the win was certainly something special, but he was not up against a championship winning Strike Force, so take that for what you will. Of course, all of Ash's aces do have their own trump cards, but after reviewing the match tapes, I have to say that Hugonite's combination of raw power and tanking ability is really something else. It's built different, it's got the moves, it's kicked off an impressive win streak against rock-solid opponents, and you can bet that this monster is only going to get stronger and stronger. And it will be exciting to see if Ash encounters an opponent strong enough to actually put an end to Hugonite's win streak. I think that fans have generally looked at Lucario as Ash's de facto ace in Pokemon Journeys, given the attention that it has received ever since April 12th, 2020, when the shadows of the internet's massive chubs for Riolu cast the world into darkness. But over the first half or so of Pokemon Journeys, it has actually been Dragonite who has carried the team through its biggest WCS matches. I'm sure Lucario will re-enter the spotlight when the inevitable Mega Lucario scenario unfolds, but as it stands, Hugonite is driving the show. With a formidable moveset that Ash exploits in unpredictable ways, real striking power, a spirit for battle, and most importantly in the context of Ash's fairly fragile team, ridiculous damage tanking durability, Dragonite is a blobby blob with wings who's as much fun to watch in battle as it is to watch interacting with the other Pokemon back at home at the Cerise Research Institute. But how about you? Is Ash's Dragonite insanely broken? How does it stack up against Ash's other aces? And who, if anyone, will be able to take it down? I'm curious what you think. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, let's chat.